Welcome to InfoComm 2022 in balmy Las Vegas, Nevada. I am here with Conn Dunning. I'm at the ADDER booth. This is Rich Fregosa for AVNetwork. Conn, it's great to see you.
Great to see you.
We're back on the show floor.
Yes, it's nice to be here. It's nice to be back with people.
The show itself, we're actually recording on the second day, and absolutely one of the things that we've been noticing is that there's a whole lot of activity going on. ADDER itself works with a lot of different user types, I guess, is
Absolutely,
what you would say.
yes.
If I were to talk about ADDER and kind of the philosophy that you're taking forward, control rooms are something that you specialize in. It's obviously one of the markets, but it's a very important segment for you. Can you tell me a little bit about the state of the control room, kind of the market, the design, the technology, but most importantly, let's talk about the users.
Right. Well, designing a good control room is all about understanding your user and making sure that the ergonomics of the workstation that user is in are good, right? They're spending hours at their station, so giving them the tools to process all the data that they have coming in, giving them the tools to be able to quickly, reliably access the information that they need is really, really important, right? So when you're designing a control room, it should always start with the user, right? And the ergonomics of that workstation that the user is at.
When it sounds like, and we were talking a little bit earlier, with that in mind, there was a product that was born out of that.
Absolutely.
And so there's a new product that you're actually showing here at InfoComm.
We are, yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, we're showing our new Multiviewer. It's a 4K Multiviewer, 4 inputs and 2 outputs. So in a scenario of a control room, you may use both outputs, one of them being sort of your primary display, the other one being the other 3 systems that are connected to that Multiviewer. And then the user can quickly and easily change which system they're working on the main display, but the great thing about it is you can use this with a single display as well, and the user can seamlessly go just by moving the mouse between windows from one system to the other, and wherever that mouse is located, they're going to be in control of that system, right? So it really eliminates the need for multiple keyboards and mice, right? Which again is all about the ergonomics of that workstation. The user doesn't have to twist and turn and reach as much as they normally would have to. Comfort for the user, a great tool for them to be able to access all the data that they're constantly getting in oftentimes life and death scenarios in a lot of control rooms, right? So it's really important that they are focused and they're efficient in doing their job.
Well, you're bringing a good point. You know, control rooms are going to be safety specific, time specific, critical application specific. So, how are you planning for, or at least the hope for this technology to help dealers and consultants and everybody else when they're planning a control room space and when the control room of the future, I guess, is if you had the black ball, the magic 8 ball, and could say, make me the control room of the future. Where do you see this leading?
Well, we're definitely seeing a growth in virtual control rooms as well, right? So we've done a few projects where they're virtual air traffic control rooms. So, instead of your traditional looking out big windows in a tower, they're back in a room somewhere, and those windows are screens, and it's all driven by cameras that are all over the airport. So they're receiving a lot of data and a lot of information that they have to be able to see visually on a screen in front of them and have real-time access and control, right? So reliable control and access to that. So the Multiviewer gives them that, and when you tie it in with our high-performance IP KVM system, our Infinity, now their access to systems is really completely infinite in a lot of ways. You can give them quick access to any system on their network. So if they have to change control, it's not about having to even push a lot of buttons. They can hotkey switch between different systems, drag their mouse from one screen to another, and we have tools that allow them to automatically switch control to that system. So it gives them a lot of flexibility, but reliability is the most important thing in a control room, and that's what ADDER is most well known for. We build reliable products that work, and they work well. So.
That's the perfect way to cap that. I couldn't have said it better at that point. Great. So obviously the best place to be to see the technology would be here at the show floor here at InfoComm.
Yeah.
Let's just say they can't make it to the InfoComm show at this point, but they want to find out more about your technology. How can they find out about ADDER?
Well, they can go to our website, adder.com, or they can reach out to their local rep right? Local reps are available globally, across the world, and we can provide demos. We can provide on-site demos, we can provide kit for demos, we can provide virtual demos, of course, and we can be there to support the customer with all the needs that they might have.
Well, that's fantastic. I really appreciate your time. If you want to find out more about Adder, you can find them on their webpage and the other options listed. If you want to find out more about AVNetwork, you can find out about them on their webpage at avnetwork.com. This is Rich Fregosa for avnetwork.com.